Transparency and reflection. We're going to focus on transparency right now. So when you're drawing something that's glass, you're drawing the shape of the object, but also you're drawing what's behind it. If it's dark behind it, then you draw dark. If it's light, then you draw light. But there are some particular aspects about that that we'll get into as I show you this demonstration. Here's the reference photo that's in your module, and I'm going to do a demonstration of it here now. So I'm starting my drawing here. I'm working on newsprint. You'll find with newsprint that because of the nature of the paper, you can only work it so much. Like after you've done a couple of glazings and erasings, it might start not holding the chalk as well. Nonetheless, it's good to practice on, which is what we're doing. So I start putting in the tone, lay it in all over at about a 60% in all the dark areas. Then I glaze all over. I do the whole drawing. Some of you are only doing parts at a time. I'd like you to glaze it all. Lay in the tone everywhere and glaze the whole thing at the beginning. Then come in, delineate. Notice I'm starting with my darks rather than coming in, pulling in my lights, out my lights. I'm starting with laying in darks. Now I'm using the chamois to start pulling out some lights. Notice that in the dark areas where the background is darker than the glass, then in the middle it's darker, and as it goes out towards the edge, it'll get a little lighter usually. That's a basic rule to watch for. When the background behind the glass is lighter, then it will tend to be darker at the edges of the glass and get lighter as it moves in. So you see me just redefining forms, laying in darks, pulling out lights now. You just saw me draw with my thumb. First I was just blending, but then I went and picked up some charcoal off of a dark area so that I could lay a little bit of tone in on that right side that's in shadow. Using a chamois to lighten up some areas. Now actually comes the fun part, laying in the highlights. I've worked on this for some time now, got everything else set pretty close to the way I want it. And if you have everything else right when you put in the highlights, it just gives it the form that it needs. Now, I realize my cap and top are a little bit too far to the left, and that right side of the bottle itself leans in a little bit as it goes up. So I'm redrawing all of this. And you'll see, I'm doing this so you can see that you can do quite a bit of corrective surgery. Keep finding the center so that I can use that to judge where I want the outer edges. more refining in some areas. And there it is. Still a little rough, but I like looseness coupled with areas that are more tight and resolved. It gives a real interest to it. You just got to find the right balance.